welcome to the Breakfast Show. Unusual setting this morning as we're here at the new Covent Garden Flower Market. It's cold, dawn has broken, people have been here since 2 a.m. and business is well in its way. I'm here now with Sarah Calcutt, who's the Chief Executive at City Harvest. Good morning.
Good morning.
City Harvest plays a really important role here. Tell us about what you do.
Well, we're a food redistributor, but we're quite unique in our space because we share a lot of fresh produce, and the tenants of this market are absolutely superb in supporting us, helping feed Londoners who are hungry.
So this is about the surplus from the fruit and veg market?
Absolutely.
Because, of course, there must be a lot.
Not as much as you would assume, because these are very canny businessmen. They will sell everything they possibly can. But there is always some that is suddenly a little bit too old, or it's a bit wonky, or it's a bit ugly, and they have some very high-class customers. And rather than paying to dispose of edible food, my team beetles around the market every morning, has a great relationship with all of them, and then we can take it out to the food banks and the soup kitchens that look after so many people.
And this is really high-quality food, because as we said earlier, it supplies just about every Michelin star restaurant here in London, the finest hotels in London, and they are kind of, like you said, quality control. If something's a bit wonky, perhaps, it might not go into one of those places, but so good and perfectly fine for anyone else.
One of the wonderful, absolute joys of working with the tenants here is they have such a diverse range of customers. You've got an incredibly diverse range of fresh produce, and that's the bit that makes really a huge difference, because actually there's something that be culturally appropriate. So it's not just root veg. You get wonderful range of mushrooms, incredible fruit and vegetables. And if you are hungry, the great nutrition that comes from a varied diet is just so important for every aspect of your life and makes a difference.
How long have you been running City Harvest?
So I've been Chief Executive for just over 2 years.
Okay.
But my relationship with the market goes back a lot further than that. So I was a fourth-generation supplier to the market. I came here first when I was 8 years old with my grandfather delivering in. And I also sit on the board. So I'm a non-exec on behalf of DEFRA looking after the market.
Okay, so you are kind of in every facet of it here. It's in your family.
Yeah, it's a big part of my life, and it's just truly an honour. I know it's an overused phrase, but it's an absolute honour to be part of the board here and watching this market develop. Hitting its 50th anniversary on the site, and now we're building all these great facilities for these amazing businesses. And I love the fact that City Harvest is part of that, and that it's all met. It's great.
Absolutely. And like you said, coming here as a girl when you're 8 years old, you've seen it through so many different life cycles. And I wonder, what does the future hold, and what does it look like? Because, of course, when we talk about market traders, there is the ongoing conversation about their survival, and as people move to online increasingly, or online shopping and supermarkets, and just... it's a changing world. And how do you feel about the future of the market?
This is absolutely the beating heart of healthy eating in London, and these businesses are not just about that sort of direct-to-consumer piece. So if you go, I think you've already spoken with Gary Marshall this morning.
We did.
So Gary and the members of the Tenants Association, they're looking at hospitality, they're looking at hotels, they're looking at the great restaurants. So they're not dependent, not as dependent on that sort of trend of buying online. They've got good relationships. They're always looking for the next great ingredient, which will give that point of difference for their customers.
Okay, that makes sense. And of course, just to talk back a little bit about the people that you support and help, that can be food banks around the city. It could be, because obviously, because it's fresh produce, it must be a little bit different in that you can't just leave it in any food bank that has tins and canned goods.
Not at all. I have an absolutely amazing community impact team. They work with just over 375 organisations, and that group is split across all 30 boroughs. There's about 130,000 people within those groups that we're feeding every week. And we have a load guide, so our lovely drivers know what they're going to deliver to a particular organisation. So if it is a food bank that just does tins and packets, we might take apples, oranges, things like that in there. But then we've also got over 100 that cook for other people, and so we're of course giving them as wide a range of ingredients as possible because they're cooking fresh.
Yes, and also that fresh point is so important, because when you are on or below the breadline, when you're living in poverty, it is increasingly difficult to get fresh produce because it is more expensive than a tinned can or a packet pasta or a cup of soup or something like that. And that means that when you live in poverty, and I think the data supports this as well, it shows that when you grow up in poverty, your life expectancy goes down because you don't have the same nutrition.
Yes, malnutrition at any phase in your life alters your life expectancy, your immune system, your mental health, absolutely everything, which is why City Harvest is so critical, and therefore also the tenants here. It's so important to be delivering a very healthy, very varied diet. buying produce and cooking it and storing it is quite expensive. If you
Yeah.
are on such a stretched income, you're struggling to turn a cooker on
Right.
and run a fridge.
You're not really batch cooking in that way.
You can't.
Yeah.
All the things that other people would be doing to sort of stretch their budget actually isn't open to you. So these credible organisations in the community that we're looking after who are providing that wraparound care, and we carefully select who we work with as well. So it's Food Plus. We give our food for free, which means the no fee thing, so that you as an organisation
Yeah.
will then have a budget which will keep the lights on. It's a warm, safe space.
Yeah.
And then your caseworker can be there, a debt advisor, a lawyer, all sorts of the useful people. So the food is the gateway to massive change and improvement in people's lives.
Incredible. And just how many people across London are you supporting? One more time, just tell us. And what areas? Is it all of London?
So 30 boroughs. We're currently delivering to 130,000 people across these 375 plus organisations. One of the great things about working with the market here, so we've just taken one of the old arch units, which is just a beautiful place to work in. It's going to allow us to extend what we do into Wandsworth and Lambeth, and we're also now working with some groups and establishing some hubs in Lewisham as we start pushing out further that way. We've been doing a lot of work in the last year researching where the need is greatest and also whether there's coverage. So we've got some fantastic peers in London, and so making sure that we're not doubling up, that we're actually covering boroughs correctly and providing as wide a service as we can.
Which makes sense. You don't want one borough to have all the support and then others not.
Yeah,
that makes total sense when you say that.
Sadly, the challenge is pretty much equal whichever borough you're in.
I was going to say, where's the greatest need in London? But it sounds like it's everywhere.
Such a lot of need. It might surprise some of your listeners that one of the largest volumes that we deliver is into Kensington and Chelsea, but the social divide is starkest within that borough. But in the same way that we start looking at what we're doing in Brent, and I could name any borough within the city, and we've got thousands of people that we're feeding within there.
Well, it's a good job you are there, indeed.
It's a really good job to have.
Sarah Calcutt, thank you so much for joining us and for all the work that you do. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Lovely to meet you.